Welcome to Wellish. What does it mean to be Wellish? Rejecting the illusion that you have to be perfect to be enough. Embracing the messy, the real, and the in-between. Growth without obsession. Self-care without guilt. Improvement without the pressure to be flawless. Because wellness isn't about perfection. It's about showing up as you are and knowing that's already enough. This is Wellish.
Do you ever feel like life is just forcing you to be harder or tougher, and no matter how much you want to stay open and soft and receptive to love and people, life just keeps chucking rocks at you, telling you to close up, keep your guard up, numb out, because otherwise you're going to get hurt? Today, we're talking about something that I just know you have felt before: the constant pressure to toughen up, whether it's work, friendships, heartbreak, or just the day-to-day, trying to make sure that you're doing life right. There's this reward system for when you are tougher and that you're made to feel weaker for being more vulnerable. But the truth is that if you are able to still be open and soft and receptive, that is what your superpower is. Like, that is the impressive thing that you could do. Not hardening off and numbing out and shutting people out and not letting people in because your heart has been bruised. It's getting up and having emotional resilience even through that bruise. Like, think about that. Hardening and toughening up and shutting people out, that's the easy route. Like, that's being more cowardly. Being able to be open and receptive and lead with love is so brave. Like, how much more of a badass thing to do to get up and still show up in your life as genuine and as authentic and as you absolutely can, because you're not living in fear. That's impressive. Welcome to Wellish, the podcast for high-quality people who love self-improvement and want to live more in alignment with their best self, but hate the pressure that comes with self-improvement to be perfect and like you should have it all together right now. Today, I'm actually wearing my new Wellish merch. I'm super excited about it. You'll have to let me know what you guys think. She's just a test run, but no shame, Wellish podcast. I absolutely love it, and I want you to keep no shame in the back of your head throughout this entire episode, because there should be absolutely no shame for ways that you've showed up in the past, mistakes you make in your process, and anything else in your life, because we're just out here doing our best. Make sure to rate and review the show. It really helps keep the show afloat, and make sure to subscribe as well so you get more Wellish content on your feed. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to keep your softness, your kindness, your openness, your feminine energy in a world that constantly just wants to chip the hell away at it. Protecting your peace doesn't mean hardening your heart, even though it can sometimes feel like it. And again, because that's the easy way to go about it. Protecting your peace, shutting yourself out from people, not letting people in, not allowing any opportunity to put yourself at risk for being hurt. That makes sense that would be protecting your peace. But that's not what protecting your peace is. Because really, at the end of the day, you're not peaceful. You don't feel fulfilled. You feel like something is lacking because you don't have genuine, close relationships, or you're lacking love, or you're lacking really, intimate friendships, whatever it may be. You are not at peace still with that because you feel on edge all the time. You feel like you have to have your guard up when it would be so much nicer to just let go. Protecting your peace at its core is learning how to stay soft while still keeping yourself safe. I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever found yourself snapping at people faster than you used to? Feeling jaded in relationships or friendships? Telling yourself, that's just how life is. That's just how men are. That's just how whatever is. Insert anything. I need to stop being so sensitive. Or maybe you stay open, but you feel walked all over or taken advantage of, so you shut down. If any of that resonates with you, you're not alone. I mean, we've been fed this lie that if you toughen up, that will keep you safe. It will provide an armor for you to not go out into the world and get hurt, or at least when you do get hurt, you don't feel stupid having done it because you stood your ground and kept this tough exterior up. And to an extent, you're not wrong, because it's not just a lie we've been told. We've adopted it and acted on it because we've shown ourselves that it's true. If I toughen myself up, then people don't take advantage of me, especially if you're like me and you've been a people pleaser in your life. or you're a super kind person. I mean, the simple fact is people aren't going to mess with people or walk all over people that will cause them havoc when they do that. Like if you have ever known a person that will bite your head off if you say something to them or come to them with an issue or want to talk to them about a problem, you've learned that I can't do that because I don't want to deal with the reaction that they're going to have. Compared to a person that's open and kind, people might feel like they're able to say like, hey, this isn't going to work for me. Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it to this, because they know that you're a good person that isn't going to be upset with them. So there is like a very real part of that we do know that if you are open and you are kind, you are more susceptible to being walked over and taken advantage of. But what if we change that mindset? What if we change the perspective? What if being soft doesn't make you a target? It makes you untouchable for knowing who you are. Let's talk about what staying soft actually looks like, because I think when I would hear this in the past, I would think that it meant weak. Like we've been fed this narrative that being soft means weak or stupid or being able to take advantage of somebody. Like it makes you, like, especially for women, I really feel like if I say like, oh, soft, then that makes me, oh, da da da, you can, oh, I don't want to upset you. Let me do whatever I have to do to make sure that you feel, it's not like that. Like you can be kind and open and not let people walk on you, like that. You can put your foot down and set your boundaries and decide what behavior you'll tolerate and what behavior you won't, and being firm in those choices. Staying soft doesn't mean being naive or ignoring boundaries. It means choosing empathy when people disappoint you. Now, you might hear that and say, how could I be empathetic when somebody disappointed me? How could I have any empathy for that? You have empathy for the fact that that person doesn't have the capacity to have the heart that you do. That person doesn't have the kindness and the softness and the openness that you do. You are a kind person with a big heart that has the capacity for something like that you would never treat people that way. And that's where the compassion comes in. Thank God my brain works the way that it does. How sad for that person that they're able to do such horrible things to somebody. Having empathy when somebody disappoints you, when people act poorly and you think, I wonder why they think that's okay. It's because things have happened in their life that make them think that it's okay. It's because hurt people hurt people. That's the empathy. That's where that comes from. So being able to have empathy when people disappoint you and say, oh, wow, that's so sad. And then just move the hell on, because you know that ain't you and that's not your problem. And thank God your mind doesn't work like that. It's holding your boundaries without becoming cold or bitter. And I struggled with this because I thought that I had to like assert my independence. I thought I had to like be more outward and aggressive with what I wouldn't tolerate, because I thought that was the only way that I could be heard. Like if I said like, no, this, I will not allow this. This is not what I like, and whatever, just being more like intense with my tone, I suppose, when the truth is that boundaries can be so simple, and like it almost makes them more powerful the simpler you keep them. Just saying something like, oh no, I don't like that. How fucking cool do you sound? Like how cool is that? No, I don't like that. No, I won't tolerate that. Please don't ever do that again. So cool. So cool. So cool. And then this is the better part. You just flit off. You just move on. Oh, da da da. Like you just, no, I don't like that. So and move on with your life, like, because I'm going to show you that I'm not affected by that, because I'm going to stay soft and open. Something doesn't happen and I say, don't do that to me. Now I'm going to keep being angry. Now I'm going to hold a grudge. Now I'm going to, get back at you, and I'm going to talk to you down, and I'm going to show you you're not going to treat me that way. No, screw that. Set the boundary, very plain and simple, very out in the open. Sometimes you don't even have to use words to set a boundary. Let's say somebody says something weird, you look at them and then you walk away. You give them like a what and walk the hell away. And that's a boundary. And then you move on physically, and also move on in your mind. Stop giving in to the minor inconveniences. The minor inconveniences might not seem like minor inconveniences in the moment, but if it's not something that's earth-shattering, world-shattering, just move on. Give it the immediate attention attention it needs and move on. And you don't have to be aggressive and shove the mentality down people's throat, because you just show up in that way. And it allows you to be firm and show what you'll tolerate and what you won't, so that you get respect from people, but that you can still be open and soft and not let other people's crap affect you and your mind. Staying soft, and this is a scary one, is letting yourself feel deeply even when it's painful, because you trust yourself that you are capable of handling whatever happens. You allow the relationships in, you allow yourself to express yourself in the way that feels most authentic to you. And if that ends in pain, if that causes hurt for you, that you'll know that you're capable of handling it. And here's the truth: we can't avoid it. No matter how much we harden ourselves off or we keep ourselves as soft and mushy as possible, people will still act however they're going to act. The people's behavior is not dependent on you. It's dependent on them. Somebody that lies to everybody. Somebody that is happy to everybody. People act how they show up with who they are, with whatever's going on in their mind. Let it be as dysfunctional to healthy, whatever point on the spectrum you're at, people will show up for themselves. So being able to stay soft and let things in and let yourself feel love and let yourself experience these emotions, because at the end of the day, you can't predict if you'll feel pain or not. And it's likely that regardless of what you do, you'll experience that pain. So might as well live in the experience to the fullest, most authentic way that you can, so that you can really absorb every last drop of goodness that comes from it, and know that you absolutely put yourself out there and did everything you could and were open and kind in yourself. But think about how scary that is. I mean, saying that out loud, we don't do that. We harden and we toughen because that sounds terrifying, to put ourselves all the way out there like that, and to put ourselves out there to be potentially rejected or to get hurt. Like, if we keep ourselves hard, then that's going to make it hurt any less. It doesn't. It literally doesn't. So it's so much more brave. Like, think about how much more brave it is to just be yourself and throw it all out there and be open and actually get the opportunity to experience it fully, compared to being afraid and toughening up and hardening yourself off and putting on your armor and shutting people out. That's weakness, not the vulnerability and the kindness. It's not weak to stay soft. It's actually the ultimate flex, because anybody can just numb out. It takes real power to feel everything and to still stay open for more. I have 3 tools that I want to give you to help you stay soft, because what happens is we think, oh, yeah, this sounds great. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can definitely be more open and stay soft. And because me and Sarah chatted about it, like, I totally got that under my belt. Logically, it makes sense. I totally get it. And then you get into the real situation, and suddenly you are not capable of applying this at all. And you're still not letting people in, and you're still barking at your boyfriend, and you're still keeping your friends at arm's length and not letting them in and telling them things about your life. And you're like, why? Like, I understand it, but I don't have the skill to apply it. So let's close that knowledge to skill gap a little bit further with these 3 tools. My first one is making sure that on the daily, you are doing a surrender check-in. Surrender is something that I did not understand until something major changed in my life. It took a major, devastating shift to make me understand what surrender really means. So if you understand it logically, but you're still not there yet, that's okay. You can still practice this. Just know that when you get it, it will one day click for you, and that will sink into your bones, and you will know how this works. And one of the ways to make that happen is by implementing this surrender practice into your day every single day. Ask yourself, where am I hardening off right now? What do I actually need? Why am I actually feeling resistant? Why do I actually feel afraid of leaning into this a little bit more, of leaning back, of just allowing things to happen and not taking control over things? Where could I put a little bit more love into that crevice of my life? Where am I not surrendering? Where am I leaning into control? My second tool is boundaries, but with love. I used to think that boundaries were confrontational and aggressive and mean, and so I was terrified of setting them because I felt like it was going to be a confrontational standoff with a person. But it's not. It's literally just you talking about what you feel and how you want to live your life. And they're actually very kind. And it's because you love this person that you want to set the boundaries so that they can stay in your life, because this is something that works for me. And if you love me, we can compromise. And if I share my boundary and your boundary, you have a different counter boundary with that, then we can work together to figure out what works for both of us, but that it comes from this space of love. And if you're making sure that you're doing these boundaries with love, setting these boundaries with love, it allows you to stay soft, because instead of being aggressive and harsh, you're just simply kindly setting your boundary, making it very clear and stated out there. Again, whether it's actually saying the words or it's physically removing yourself from a situation, whatever it is, it's a very kind execution. And it's very clear to other people what you will and won't tolerate, while still being able to be open and kind. My third one, I actually really love, and I was never really into this before, and I've started to implement it into my day-to-day a little bit more, and I really like it. It's really genuinely helped me take my foot off the gas of the control car and be able to just like lean back into surrender a lot more. And that is softness rituals, like making the intentional practice to do things that make you feel soft, whether that be breath work or journaling, or honestly, even just like the way you move through your house. Like I've tried to make a conscious effort to like move a little bit slower, and making sure that I'm setting myself up with enough time to leave my house when I have somewhere to be, so that I can move a little bit slower. You can listen to soft, nice, calming music. You can let yourself cry, let yourself feel your emotions. Whatever it is that you need to do to be gentle and soft with yourself, so that you can turn around and be gentle and soft with other people, really will be beneficial. Because like I said, again, people aren't just one specific way to you. That's just the way they operate with everybody. And that includes you. You are not the exception. So if you're not being soft with yourself in quiet moments, at home, in little moments, how do you expect to turn around and do it when it's complicated? That's going to be a hell of a lot harder to do it when you actually feel like you're at risk for getting hurt. So being able to build the habit somewhere that you're at your absolute safest with yourself, it's a really good practice to implement the habits. Here's the thing. If you don't intentionally practice staying soft, and you have to intentionally make the choice to practice staying soft, the world will automatically harden you just by default, because things happen that make us feel bad, and it's a protection mechanism. It's our caveman brain turning into ourselves and protecting us by hardening and toughening up. And if you don't make the conscious choice to allow yourself to be soft, you won't do it. Quick side rant too, because I thought of this the other day and I'm really excited about it. And maybe like I could turn it into an episode, but I'm talking about default, so might as well just like throw it in here right now. Is that I was thinking about how like you are programming your default mode, right? Like the fact that like I was saying, like I really have registered with surrender recently. Like I'm super excited that I have now programmed that into my default mode. Think of us like machines, okay? Think of us like robots. How much work it takes, and coding and all that intense stuff that it takes to get things programmed into our default mode. It takes a lot of work to code that into you. And with enough practice and intention, you can eventually get it to your default mode. But until you get it there, it's not going to be there. So that's why we backslide and we get screwed up with things, and we go through lulls of not doing the things that we really want to be integrated into our default system. And the best way to combat that is to just keep trying. That every time you think of it and every time you feel like it, you implement whatever it is into your day, whether it's something physical like exercise and diet, or if it's a mentality, a way of thinking, just thinking about it and registering it and recognizing it and applying it as often as you can, until eventually it does become a default mode. But it takes time. So allow yourself that grace, allow yourself the space to get it into your default mode. But the same thing applies to this, it's going to take time to realize that you can be soft and that you're going to be okay if you're soft. And it's going to take, not just making one choice, but a continuous string of choices every single time you're given the opportunity to either harden or to stay soft. And eventually you will be able to incorporate it into who you are. But when you don't do that and you just ride the wave of all of the crap that life has chucked at you, you wake up one morning completely disconnected from yourself and fully numbed out. And you don't even know why, because it's just a compilation of shit that's happened over your life. Softness keeps you alive. It keeps you magnetic. It keeps you on course with who you want to be. It's in alignment with your best self, no matter how many times life tries to yank you off of that course. The goal isn't to avoid the hard stuff, whether you avoid it by shutting yourself off and not letting people in, or you try to control situations by being aggressive with your words and your actions. It's to move through the hard stuff without losing your softness in the process. I want you to leave this episode and just be genuinely honest with yourself. Nobody else has to know, but look inward and ask yourself, where have I let the world harden me? And what's one tiny thing I can do today to try to soften myself again? This community truly is proof that we can be well without being perfect. You can be working on your softness and still have areas that you're hardened off. There are going to be times that is triggered a little bit more and times that you can lean more into your softness. It's about being able to get more of the time in the softness, more of the time in the well, and less in the time in the hardness, or less of the time in the ish, we like to say over here. If this episode spoke to you, make sure to share it with a friend, because everybody deserves to feel like their softness is strength. And make sure to tag me in any breakthroughs this episode gave you at Wellish Podcast, both on Instagram and on TikTok, or at sarah.rittendale on Instagram. And don't forget to follow the pod for new episodes every Monday so we can stay soft together, one imperfect step at a time. I will talk to you guys Monday. Bye.